Welcome to this video. You tried to achieve your goal or to manifest what you want, but you keep sabotaging yourself and you wonder yourself, how does it happen? I know this feeling myself. How does it happen? Like, you start at this point, you wanted to achieve your goals, for example, of the year, and now somehow you're back at the same point. Like, how is this possible, right? And at the end, you just feel frustrated, like all the time is wasted. Now you have to start from new. And because I don't want that it happens to you again, I will explain to you how you can overcome the self-sabotage. And there are two factors when it comes to this. We'll start with the factor that is more known to most people when it comes to the spiritual space. So the first factor when it comes to this are suppressed emotions, the not acceptance of oneself. Because if you feel, for example, unworthy, this is what comes very often if you have suppressed emotions, if you haven't accepted yourself. And it's all a process. You know, there are more and more parts of yourself or emotions of yourself that will come from your subconscious over time. So everyone is in the process. It's like an endless process of self-acceptance, right? But at the end, if you have suppressed emotions, let's say you were treated not that well in the past. Now you want to make an experience where the opposite happens, right? Where you attract better people. Now the thing is, to be able even to attract that, it's really necessary to first let go of this experience. Because no matter what kind of tactics you use, no matter how hard you try now to go there and attract such people, it won't work out. Because, like, on an emotional level, you are still stuck on this in this experience back from that time, maybe when you were bullied or something happened, okay, or when you had a breakup or something like that, okay. So on emotional level, as long as you don't accept that, you are still stuck on that level. This is why it keeps repeating itself. It's like a cycle, becomes a self-repeating prophecy. You can't explain it, but it happens again and again. And I know this because this is how it was for me all the years. Like, I tried all kind of things. I was going to seminars. I was reading books. I bought courses. I tried all kinds of things and breathwork techniques and affirmations and everything what you can imagine. Okay, but I still kept sabotaging myself. Okay, and this is because when I was younger, I made certain experiences. Okay, and these experiences, as long as I didn't started to let them go, they will keep manifesting themselves. It's like with people who were maybe bullied, and until they accept that, it will just repeat itself, the cycle of attracting the same people that treat you bad as well. Okay, so the first step, therefore, is just whenever you see these emotions, when you observe that, you observe these emotions and then you start to feel it. And when you feel it, you notice there's usually a resistance at the start. So you not just observe the feeling and everything, but the resistance itself. And if there's a resistance against the resistance, then you observe the resistance against the resistance. And if you notice there's now an impatience, like, oh my God, now it will take forever like that, then you observe the fear and the impatience that it will take so long. Whenever you observe that, you start to disidentify with that. You're no longer attached to that. This is basically how it is. Everything disappears in the conscious. Whenever you observe that and make it conscious, it starts to dissolve itself. You start to get free. This is how it works. And maybe you need first to practice awareness, more awareness over the day to notice these triggers. Okay, so let's go to the second step. Now, this step is not just about healing, but it has to do with your identity. So what very often happens, I will give you actually an example. I was For a long time ago, I was in a 12-step group. Okay, and in these 12-step groups, I noticed that people call themselves, so they have their specific introduction. They say very often, "I'm an alcoholic. My name is James," or whatever. Now the problem is, I noticed that when I keep saying that all the time as well, so I was not an alcoholic, but I just give you this as an example. When I noticed um, when I will say this all the time, okay, then this will just become it will be just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, what the hell? I want to actually get out of that, and now I sing all the time my old identity and repeat it. And then I realized this is not how it works. If you want to stop the self-sabotage, it's not just enough to take the action, okay? But when you notice, you observe this new experience, or let's say you want to attract people, now you go into situations, okay? When you attract these new people, new high quality people, high vibrating people, and now you notice, oh my God, you start to you want to spend time with them, but you notice again this voice that says, oh my God, you aren't good enough, or for example, right? Or I don't know if it will work. So you start to think like your old self, like your old identity. Now, even if you take action, if you still think like your old self, the results will be the same. Because it's not about if you take action or not, it's about who you embody, right? If you take action as your old self, then the results will be the same or close to the same. So in best case, you will have a little bit results. And this is it. This is it. So that means you have to know what kind of how would your new self be, right? And the other thing is, besides to knowing who you will be, how you will feel, how you look like, how your life will look like, it's important to know when does this old self appear. For me, it helps to just have clarity. I use a lot of journals. Like, I use so much journals, and I write also notes on WhatsApp to myself. So it helps me just to clarify, okay, when does this old self usually appears? Maybe when you start to try to talk to people, when you want to attract high quality people or high quality women, for example. Okay, so maybe it starts to appear there, or maybe somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just when you try to make a business project, for example. So you have to observe when this pattern appears, and usually it will come up again and again until you become aware of that, first of all. So it's important that you first become aware of that, and I usually write it down from the start because I know already this will repeat itself like on a repeat button. If you write it down, then you will know it from the start, like, oh my God, okay, so this is when it will appear, this is when it will appear, this is when it will appear in this situation. If you have this clarity, then you are prepared. You will know already in advance, oh my God, right, so right now it will happen soon. Or actually, it doesn't matter if you expect it or not. So even if you're non-judgmental, these patterns, if they're really there, they will appear. It's not just a self-fulfilling prophecy, it's really there in your subconscious. So you just know, okay, this pattern usually appears here, and then you become aware. And then you don't act any longer on autopilot. And now you can start to accept that. And after that, after just observing that, accepting that, just emerge in your new self. Just think, okay, I'm my new self. Okay, so from this point on, what would I do? How would I do the things? Like your idea self, what would it do? Right? The more clarity you have about your idea self, the better. You can also write it down from the start. If it helps you, if the situation is so overwhelming, you can write down from the start when the situation appears that you tap into your old self automatically, and how you would act in the situation as your new self after you have accepted the situation. And by doing this is how you stop the self-sabotage. What I want to say, the self-sabotage at the end, it all leads to your old identity. So you try to have new results, but you act like your old self. You think like your old self. You still believe it. Even if you say sometimes on the surface, I'm my new self, I can do it. It's sometimes not enough. It's not always enough to do that. It's really about making you believe that. It's about emerging in that person, to become that new person. Okay? If not, you will always fall back to the level of your old self. You will always fall back and wonder why you sabotage. So I hope this video helped you, and comment below if you have questions or you want maybe another video, that I make another video for you. Comment below if you have maybe some topics that you want to hear more about. And I have opened a new Facebook group. And this Facebook group, it's about emotional mastery and mindset mastery, and you can join that anytime. It's for free, and we can exchange there and talk about different topics that I talk also here about on my YouTube channel. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.